Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Down the Path, Morning. And I did this a few days back, and pretty happy with it. I think it pretty came out pretty good. And this is like from a scene in nature. I've done a bunch of other paintings from the same little area. This one had some kind of funky trees, and so the reference has been sitting there in my reference folder for a long time. And I knew that I would have to resolve these. In fact, it's kind of been a theme with the last, I don't know, seems like the last bunch of paintings I've done. They've all had flawed reference, which is, let's face it, pretty much every bit of reference. I mean, every now and again, there's a perfect bit of reference, and of course, it's easy to make a good painting from great reference. It's not that hard. It's always more challenging when there's problems to be solved, and as you may or may not know, I tend to try and solve a lot of those problems using Photoshop. But you can't do everything, and some things are just like sort of systemic to the scene itself. And so the place to fix some things is going to be when you're doing the painting. So in this case, it was really that main tree on our right side, which you can see, by the way, now is a little bit tilted. I was thinking that was going to work. You'll notice at the very end of the painting, I ended up straightening it out because that's just me. Anyway, this is the main spot where I'm going to try and figure things out, work things out. But that main tree had two very strong curved branches, which almost give it like this wacky fork sort of feeling. I didn't like that, but I did like aspects of the scene. Like, I really like the way, I think one of the reasons why I like so many of the scenes from this little area in nature was I just like the way the foliage drapes around the trees, and I like those types of trees, and so I know I favor that. But these trees were just okay, but I knew, well, I didn't know. Sometimes you 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 work with the reference, you try and get it to a certain point. There's always a sort of flux, at least with me, between the part of me that's going, this isn't going to work, this is a problem, this or that needs to be addressed, and there's the other part of me that says, I can make it work, I can do it, And I'm sure all of us have that, and you really need both. You need the internal editor, which is pointing out all the things that could go wrong or that are wrong with the reference, or that could be wrong or are wrong with your painting. But you also need that part of you that believes you can overcome and succeed, and that's a real challenge. It's not that easy. If you're asking me, it's one of the harder things I've ever done is landscape painting, and one of the most gratifying and enjoyable as well. And that's one of the reasons why I put this whole channel together, and I just love it. It's what I do. One of the things I do. I also do music and other things, which are, let's face it, just as fulfilling, but harder to maybe communicate about. The nice thing about the paintings is that I can record the whole process and then share it with you. And it's interesting because, the process is going to be pretty fresh in my head for a day or two or a week afterwards. After that, I've moved on. I've done several paintings, probably other paintings, and so it's great to have a video and look at it and be able to go back and go, oh, well, that's how I did that. Not that I could actually ever go back and do the same painting again. You can't cross the same river twice, A very interesting phenomenon. I look at a lot of my older work, and even though I can see flaws in it and things that were successful in it, I know I can't really go back. I mean, I can grab that painting and fix it, But it will be, I'm a different person than I was when I painted it originally. And, you're always moving forward, and the struggle is real. Yeah, so the other thing I maybe want to talk about with this painting, in regards to this painting, is that it has a fairly limited range of colors, though. So we're kind of in a cool zone, but I'm pushing a few warm reds in there as well. Um, the reds almost all informed by the greens, with the exception of the path, which ended up being very warm. Not very warm, but it has kind of a corally, maybe ochery warmth to it, and I think it works actually. I think one thing that maybe would tie this painting together a little bit would be a quick, very light glaze, maybe with some transparent earth yellow, but not really necessary. Uh, the other thing I was, struck with, probably you too. So you've got these boughs from the trees. You've got, if you're looking at the reference, you just see, hundreds of leaves overlapping the sky. You can't paint those, you know. You can't, and you have to simplify it somehow. But what do you do? And generally, I just work with shapes, and then that's something like one hand almost doesn't know what the other one's going to do. I just kind of peck away at it and hope for the best. The thing is, though, I've done it a lot, so I kind of, I know how to kind of, I guess what I'm saying is you sort of approach it, you come at it sideways, because if you're going to sit there and delineate this very carefully constructed clump of leaves that is overlapping the sky, all that attention you put into that clump is going to translate into attention that the viewer is going to direct at it. Even if you don't want that's not your intention. It doesn't matter if any part of your painting that you slave away at will get tighter and will almost gets like a bit of a pinch to it, and definitely will attract attention. So you can't really solve the problem through a direct intellectual assault, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You can't necessarily design your way out of the problem. You just have to have an intention and a mode of operation of working. You can see I'm getting in there, and I'm actually doing things right now. I'm not even. You got to remember, I'm working at almost a 26-degree angle from. So it seems like the easel is straight on, but it's not straight on to me. I've been working at an angle for years, and that's to accommodate the video camera. I do it for you. I do it for you. So sometimes, though, that's one of the reasons why you might see me slap a T-square down, just to make sure that things aren't crooked, because sometimes it's hard for me to gauge at an angle like that. And in this case, I was thinking I wanted to treat a slight angle, but as I was progressing, it was kind of bothering me. And then I had to look at it in the camera and decided, oh no, I don't like that angle at all. I made the tree completely straight. Now, you may not be photographing your work or videotaping your work, and that's perfectly fine. I think that's great. The important thing is to make the painting. But if you're not, but you want to have that same sort of benefit, I recommend maybe having a mirror on the wall that you can hold your paintings up to, or see your paintings in. And a lot of things will jump out in reverse that you thought were probably fine. But when you see it reversed, you go, ooh, I don't like that. So a lot of times you'll see that towards the end of the video, I will jump in and fix something that you probably saw the whole time. I was going, I wonder if he's going to fix that. I wonder if he's going to address that. Well, maybe I didn't. It's probably more than a few things that I probably never got around to addressing. Now, in this painting, we're getting to the point where it's kind of getting, I wouldn't say overworked. I did stop short of that, but um, you know, this is a thing. There was like a certain textures and certain highlights and things I wanted in the trees, but also I kept seeing things that needed to be fixed too. But it was a bit of a struggle painting, and I told you that from up in the front. But considering, I mean, where the reference is, I'm super happy with it, and I think it came out really nice. And there's a nice feeling to it, a nice quality. And when I was talking about the color a bit earlier, so most of the colors are kind of in this cool range, which I like to play with. I like to play with every different color range. The exception might be I don't do like a full out purple painting very often or a red painting. Even paintings that are all green. I see several of my favorite tonalist master painters have done that up on occasion, and one day I might too, just show off how I can handle the greens. Just do a painting. It's nothing but. I did do a study after an Ines that was like that. I think I shared that on the channel. I don't much like that painting myself, but anyway, end of video. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you got a little something out of this. At the very least, you got to see a nice painting show up and occur. Until I come back with another video, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself and your family, all your loved ones. Try and love your enemies, and stay out of trouble.